awesome friends, how are you today? So I hope you're not watching YouTube videos in the middle of the night, but if you're like me, I watch quite a few when I can't sleep, but I always put them on mute. Anyway, today we're going to learn about words, and I'm going to show you a trick on these lovely embossed words. I think people asked me a while ago, where did I get them or how did I make them? So this is the first taper tag challenge using words. This one I have actually put onto a journal, which is amazing. Really adds a little bit of interest, but we are going to do a tag for this tutorial. Okay, so a few years ago I was fortunate enough to get these embossing plates. They are not embossing folders because obviously they don't fold. Sorry, I see a bit of paper stuck on this one. A little bit of paper stuck there. But I have really struggled on how to find the right sandwich for my little embossing machine. I've got a little cuttlebug. So for those of you who don't have an embossing machine, I do sell an embossed sheet for 14 Rand in South Africa. Sadly, I can't send it overseas, and I have 3 different ones that I sell. I will put them on my Facebook page in the album embossing sheets or texture sheets. So for this one, I just want to show you how I've struggled. If you look at this imprint, it is not very clear, but it will not be wasted because I never waste anything. This one was the first one that I tried. Also very skew because it slipped. And then this one I've used, and the embossing pads are so hard that they sometimes get little tears, but that's also absolutely fine. I am going to now show you how we're going to do this tag. So I've already prepped a tag with a lovely die cut on it, and we are going to quickly cover that for you. I'm going to use some broad or wide metal tape. It's 20 centimeters wide, and the tag that I'm using today is a little bit bigger than the usual tag. Can you see that? So it is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just over 5 inches by about 2.5 inches wide. So I'm saying that for myself, for my international friends, because South Africa we use centimeters. Okay, so let's just quickly cover this tag for you. As usual, I crumple my tape. Don't take the backing all the way off because I don't want to waste much. And place the tag on there, face down, with your die cut onto the tape. Oh my word, my blade is a little bit blunt. Definitely need to get a new blade for my craft knife. Okay. And I'm going to fold the edges over so we've got a nice closed edge on the sides. And then that one I'm guesstimating. Not a bad guesstimate. Using our credit card, just flatten it. And on the right side, we also just flatten it. Using my freshly sharpened paper stump. Feels like I've got a new paper stump again. Remember, if you want to see how to sharpen the paper stump, please go and look at the little tip that I loaded on my YouTube channel on how to sharpen your paper stump. And there you go. Whoops. Bend that and around the edge. Okay, so all done. I'm just going to trim the excess off. And the corners. Now remember, if you don't have any store-bought tags, make your own. They can be any shape you like. I'm just using the standard luggage tags that you buy at your stationery store, but you can have a round tape, a square tag, whatever tag you like. A tag is a tag. Okay, I'm just going around the embellishment or the die cut. It's a lovely die cut that was gifted to me by a happy mail friend. And here we go. I'm just going to hand embellish it with a tool. I'm not so sure if you can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Okay, just drawing some detail on my leaves and on my pot. I'm turning my tag because I haven't got great light here, and as you know, we cannot do a video with any artificial light because the reflection is so bad on the shiny metal you won't see a thing. So I've always got to work in natural light, and I can never quite get the balance. If it's too sunny, it's really hot here in my craft room, and if it's too shady or cloudy, the light is so subdued you sometimes can't see what you're doing. So I hope you can see what I'm doing here. And there we go. Another leaf, some detail on the leaf. There's another leaf. Remember, the more you work, and you can see I'm drawing little lines on the leaves, and I've drawn a little pattern on the flower pot. Remember, the more you work, the better detail you will have once you ink your project. So don't rush this step. The little flowers are quite sweet. Now, I could have prepped this whole tag and then just done the word for you, but I realized that there are quite a few new subscribers who have not watched previous tutorials, and then they don't really know where I'm coming from. So I decided to do a whole tag today, just so that you can see the process. And remember, you don't have to rush out and go and buy 100 tools. You can literally get your roll of metal tape, and a ballpoint pen works just as well instead of your tool. So bear that in mind. And let's squiggle that little flower there. And I think I'm done. So you can see I have techniqued my little tag. I'm just looking to see that I haven't missed any areas, and it looks good. And now I'm going to do a little bit of hand stitching around the edge. And for those of you who know me, the hand stitching just finishes off your tag. You can use a ruler and draw a line if you want. Just give it a border. It really makes the world of difference to your end product. Circling the little hole reinforcer. And here we go. I also wanted to show you something. I'm not sure if you can see it so clearly, but if you look there, I poked a hole in my tape. Please don't worry about that. Once you've finished your project, you will not see that. And I'm going to decorate my hole reinforcer just for a little bit of extra fun here. Okay, so we're all done. I have a piece of waste paper, and we're going to ink it with our Sharpie. ink our tag with our Sharpie. Okay. There's something nice about using a brand new Sharpie. Oh, I just love it. The ink is just so rich. Okay, and as you can see, your Sharpie is always slightly purple. Don't worry about that. Okay, so I'm letting that dry for the moment, and now we're going to start with our word. I'm going to use this piece that is a little bit more defined than that piece. I'm sure you can see the difference. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to choose a word. We have inspire, shine, precious, care, embrace, wish, I think, and then we have journey. I kind of like the idea of putting on a long word, so I think we're going to go with journey. I'm going to cut it out. Okay, and just straighten it. Okay, I didn't cut it very straight. Okay, so there we have our word that I've cut out, and I'm just curving the corners a bit. Now, the reason I like to curve my corners is that sometimes when you've got these pointed corners, it kind of hooks if you accidentally, what's the right word? Or you can accidentally hook it. So now we've got our little word. I'm going to technique it with my tool. So with the small tool, I am going to outline it, much like we do with all our projects. Outline the word best we can. There's an R. Just be careful not to accidentally flatten your letters. And the Y. Okay. Don't know if you can see there. So I've gone around my letters. Just want to put a little dot in the end there. And then I'm going to scribble the background, which also adds to a little bit of the definition of the word. It makes the word pop more. So I'm scribbling my background. Just use my nail to flatten it. I don't know if you can see in the light, the edge sort of curls up a bit. You can use your credit card or paper stamp. I'm just too lazy to swap tools here. Okay. Righty. And so this is really cute if you are doing a journal, you want to make some little ephemera or something like that, and you add an interesting little word. Really makes a big difference to have something personal and different. Okay. Okay, and we're going to ink this one. So you can see on the back there are some little black dots from your Sharpie. That means there's tiny little holes there, but they are so small you cannot see them. Okay, so we've done that word. We're going to wait for it to dry. In the meantime, we're going to buff our tag that we've just made. Oops. And here we go. Sorry, I bent my tag a bit. So there is your lovely tag. And here's our word. Let's just do this. Okay. So I also wanted to show you, sometimes your nail buff loses all its sandpaper on the edges, and then I cut it in half or in bits so that I extend the life of my nail buff. So here we're buffing off the ink. And there we are. And I honestly think we should put a little bit of alcohol ink on this. If you can give me 1 sec. Whoopsie daisy. Talk about being unprepared. I think it'll pop a bit more. So I'm going to use some green and some pink. Let's color it with our, take that off. And sometimes you've just got to go a little bit bright. This is quite a pale sort of turquoisey green, which reacts with the ink to look like purple, but it's actually, can you see that? Adds some interest. That's the nice thing about alcohol ink, you always get a surprise. Never quite sure how it's going to react with the Sharpie. So who would have thought that these two colors would create the colors you see on your tag? And turn it here. So there you go. This is aqua. Very, very funny. I don't like that solid bit of pink there. And here we go. You see, I'm not very tidy. It doesn't matter because we will buff the sections off. And there we go. And I'm just dabbing a few times here to add some, looks like water splashes, you know, for those of you who do mixed media. Do a little bit of water splashes. And there we go. We'll let that dry for a moment. And in the meantime, while it's drying, we'll do another word. Let me put it over there. So now I'm going to use this one with a very light impression. Remember, it's quite deeply embossed. This is very light. You can hardly see the words properly. And now we are going to work it from the back. So I'm going to choose a word and I'm going to choose wish. And I find it much easier to cut out the word you're working with. So I'm going to cut out wish carefully so I can use the other words in another project. And here is our word. Okay, here is wish. You can see it's very faint. And once again, what do? We're go around everything with our tool or ballpoint pen. And I'm working on a flat surface, and by going over everything, we have now added some definition. Can you see? And the word is not as high as that word that I've done, you know, so it's a lot flatter, which is absolutely fine. And once again, I'm going to use my scrap paper. I'm not going to do anything on the background because I want you to see the difference. And we're just going to ink our word wish. Okay, and there you go. And we'll let that one dry for a sec. Okay, just want to see if this is dry yet, and it doesn't look like it. Nope, still transferred some ink onto my hand. I see I missed a spot there. My brush is still a little bit wet from the alcohol ink, so I don't have to do anything further. Okay, so we've got our two words. Now you can do two different things. You can take a piece of card, or I want to see here if I have some card. Don't have any card, but anyway, you can mount your word onto a piece of colored cardstock, and then you can add it to your project. But in this case, we are only going to glue it directly onto the project. Okay, that seems to be fine. Just focusing on the die cut and then distressing the back very lightly. I really like to distress the back. I know that our alcohol inks are so vibrant, but I kind of like the distressed look, so I always use my nail buff afterwards, because look what happens once you have crumpled your tape. Look at the amazing creases that come out. So now we're going to use our word, and I think it's going to look lovely. And this one says journey. So and I kind of think I like it lower like that, and use my finger and smooth it down. So there you go. How amazing is that? Makes it pop, doesn't it? So that is a really, really easy technique. And then let's just do our word wish so you can see the difference. And trim it. Once again, trim here. And I like my curved corners. So there we go. Curve that corner there. And that one there. And that's our little wish. So I'm going to not glue this down, but on the photograph for the tutorial, you will see how I've used the word wish. Take care and have a lovely day, and let's see if you have any embossed words. If you don't have any embossed words, do not worry about it. Just skip this tutorial, because there will be another taper tag tutorial with words you can do. Take care and have a lovely day.